Right then, hello and welcome to MD Model Works in association with Alclad 2. Now, I live and work in Suffolk. I live I work very close to Hannants, and obviously, luckily enough, I get the chance at my lunch times to go and get whatever I need, if I need anything from Hannants. Today we got an email, I suppose it was about 1 o'clock, to say this beauty had arrived. So off I shot, straight down, and this was brought out of the actual container box that was there, much to my delight. So hopefully we'll have a good look at her, see what we think. There are a few things that I've been told that's in it. I've not opened the box, I've not looked in it, I've not looked at any of the reviews. I know there's one on Brick Modeler, a sprue review. I have no idea what we're going to get. So the best thing to do is have a look round and then we'll go from there. So we've got a beautiful picture of an F6 on the front of the box as usual. No signature for the painter, which is a shame. Normally there is. It looks like we've got 3 sets of decals. One with, is that Polish? Not sure, I'll have to have a look, sorry, do apologise for that. Well, I know we've got 2 British ones at least, and one with the lovely yellow tail flash. Your kit number for this is A09185, and it's the 148 Hawker Hunter F6. So looking around the box, I'm just having a quick look. So we got some just ordinary pictures off the side, usual end of the box, colour displays. Excuse me, the dog just decided to run in. A little bit of introduction to the actual aircraft, and we've got our 3 ones, which is the Dutch. It's a Dutch aircraft, not a Polish one as I thought. I do apologise. From Leeuwarden. So we've got from RF Waterbeach, which isn't that far from me. We've got the Flying Skull at RAF Valley, Anglesey in Wales, 1968. And we've got the Leeuwarden one from the Netherlands in 1964. Usual thing, 3 flying hours. I believe they're bringing the flying club back in this year. She is completely and utterly sealed up, as you can see. So let's open her up. Quite a large box for what is really quite a small plane. We'll have a look. I'll just put the box to one side. So we have quite large sprues. I was expecting smaller sprues, to be honest, but we've got our usual one bag. Our instructions, presumably our decals are inside that bag. So we'll just put this all to one side for a moment. Got our decals are there. Go away. Oh, a couple of nice call outs, we'll have a look at those in a moment. Anyway, so the decals. Obviously they'll be in the new format that Airfix have been using for a little while now, and it says 3 decal schemes included. So we've got the same bit of information as we've got on the side of the box on the instructions, and then we'll look into it straight away. And what have we got? So we're looking at start off the usual way with the ejection seat. Now it looks like there are, yep, it looks like there are 2 inserts for the injection seat, one without seat belts and one with belts provided. So if you don't fancy go down the Ed Hard route, they're already there, you just got to paint them in. The ejection seat looks quite basic, but I suppose we are talking about the 50s, so it was relatively basic back then. We've got the pull handles going on. Then we come to the rear of the cockpit and the cockpit tub itself, which again looks relatively basic, but again, was there a lot in this aircraft? Without looking at the one at Norfolk Suffolk Aviation Museum, I don't really know. Seat going in, joystick, throttle, cables going in. We got decals for the instrument panel, which means I would imagine that it's just a plain, on 148 it's a bit of a surprise if it is, but just a plain instrument panel. Got a head-up display, and it looks like our front wheel well going on the bottom of it. Excuse me if you can hear that sneezing, my poor wife has a cold. Right, it's telling us to drill out some holes here. We've got another piece, an insert that's going in the rear. I'll have a look at that a little later. So I don't know why that would be like that, but there you go. Cockpit tub going in, drill some holes. The rest of the front wheel well, or not the front wheel well, the radar, or what would be the radar area going on. Presumably this is to tighten up the, tighten up the nose, make it stronger, as well as what that's doing. We've got the front intake fan, which is going on, just the fan, nothing else to it. That just cocks in. We've got our intakes on, which are two-part intakes for either side. It looks like we may get away without any seams on these, which would be very, very nice. And as you can see, this is how they go in, and they slide into the body before you put the halves together. Yeah. So the halves go together after you've got the engine in, or the front rotor in. We've then got, I would imagine they're lights. They're navigation or side lights with some oxygen bottles going in the front. Again, we'll do the other side of the air intake. Stand is sold separately. It's telling us that if we're doing a version, the B version, which was, I believe, the which one was that? The Waterbeat. No, it isn't actually. It's the training one at Anglesey. Then those guns need to be filled in on both sides of the fuselage. Obviously, they weren't there in training. 20 grams, so we'll double that to 40 for a bit of weight behind the cockpit. Obviously, there's plenty of room, which is great. Then we make the tailpipe up with a single piece burner rings. Then it goes into, I wonder, just a thought. We've got a section at the rear, a separate sails tail section for that to go into. There could be a couple of reasons for that. We've got the one piece top of the wing to go on, which, like the Harrier, or the 172 Harrier that was brought out, same sort of thing. Hopefully that'll join together with not too big a gaps. Your nose going on. The underwings then go on. Under the wings, you've got, that's just with undercarriage up, so it's in the flight position. You know, drill holes out for the tanks, but if we go back down here, we've got quite a good, what looks to me like half decent detailed wheel wells on both sides, and then the wings go down on top, and again obviously drill out your holes for your underwing tanks. We've got the rudder going on, the rear tail planes going on. Looks like we may have movable or placeable, I wouldn't say movable, but placeable flaps and ailerons, both sides. Then we've got the undercarriage to go in, parts of the undercarriage going in, another part of the wheel well, which seems fairly odd putting it in at this stage, but oh, hang on, I can see that because the strut is there. It's not so bad. And then again for the other side, and it shows you a better picture of what's going on here. So that goes on last to allow you to get in your suspension strut. Nice idea. Parts of the wheels going together with the gear doors all going on. A good front facial picture of how the actual undercarriage should look when it's there. The wheels being made up, which now a lot of people don't like these, but I do. Hubs are completely separate to the wheels or the tyres. Now makes it easier for painting, but sometimes a little bit harder to get them correct. Those go on, then the undercarriage goes on, or they put the doors on first. Two-piece parts for the front nose undercarriage. A little bit more sanding and filling to do there. We've got the actuator for the doors that goes onto the wheel. We've got our little side humps, which are actually ammunition. That's where the ammunition goes. And of course those bits that I spoke about earlier is where the ammunition came out of when it was spent. So that's handy. Even I live and learn. We've got our air brakes starting to go on, and it can be deployed or undeployed, same things. Outer wing fuel tanks going on, fuel pods, whatever. Clear parts left and right, and of course your pitot tube with a one-piece canopy or a two-piece canopy by the looks of it. Can be open or closed. Again, that's fairly good. And then, blimey, stencil data. Now I'm just going to bring you in, excuse me, have a look at that. Now that is one heck of a lot of stencils. We're getting up to phantom territory almost here by the looks of this. So you got a day's work just doing the stenciling, but hey, that's no complaint. I think that's great. So we'll take you back out a bit. That's it. And more stencil data. So we got stencil data for all three versions, which to me is very, very good. Now, colour callouts. This I think is a lovely touch from Airfix. We've got number 4 training school, Royal Air Force Valley, Anglesey, Wales, September 1968. Number 73, obviously. We've still got the gun blister or the ammunition blisters on there, but the guns will have been filled in. So we've got light aircraft grey on the rear, on the bottom, usual dark green and dark sea grey, and they've actually put the British standard codes into there. Now, if anybody who knows me knows that I know a bit about paint, and to see British standard codes going on there is perfect. So dark sea grey, they're all BS381C, which most is Royal Air Force stuff. 638, 241 and 627, which obviously available in the Alclad range, all three of those. Gunmetal matte black and silver, I think that's lovely. But to see these, it's very, very nice. And again, we've got the same markings, just the decals are different. That's a bit odd. Oh, I see what they've done. Now in early 1958 we just had these markings, which is the A marking. Now this is obviously changed later on, and the yellow tail flash was put on. So that looks great. Oh, it was marked Commander's Aircraft, specially marked for 1958 Battle of Britain display. That's pretty cool. So that's nice. That's nice. You're watching too much Mrs. Brown, boys. Now we get on to our Dutch version, which colours are all the same yet again, except the underneath is silver. And also that looks very, very nice. Some larger decals on her. Bit different, but very nice. Okay. Right, so we'll do the decals next because they're right in front of me. Right, let's make sure it's not too shiny. Okay. Right, now the decals themselves, they feel quite thick. They look very, very good. There's bleed over on the 3, on the nose of the 73. Well, on my one anyway. The roundels don't look. Might be my eyesight. I've been working since early this morning. The inner white doesn't look correct. For some reason, it doesn't look round as it should. Perhaps that's just me. I don't know. So you're going to need to paint the tail yellow and use the checkerboard effect decal if you want to. But apart from that, they're very nice. Whether or not the decals, the stencils are readable, I don't know. Now every stencil on there is readable, which is very interesting. So all those thousands of stencils or hundreds of stencils that are on this kit are readable, which is very, very nice. And everything else looks great. It's literally just, it's a very small thing, but some of the it looks like someone's gone slightly over the line with your felt tip pen when you're drawing something, or you're colouring in something. That's what it looked like to me. You've got your instrument panel decals just here. Again, they look very basic. So hopefully there'll be a decent instrument panel inside. But apart from that, they look fairly reasonable. Doesn't say who does the decals on this one. Normally it does. We just protect those inside here. And then we'll come to the important part. So we've got the usual story. We've got the one bag. Quite a big bag. And of course, one thing you must be careful of, as a friend of mine found out today, when you take your kit out of these bags, and it wasn't an Airfix kit, by the way, to check the whole bag and make sure there's nothing falling off in transit. I know it's a brand new kit, but that is possible. Right, there's our transparencies, and here we go. So the kit itself. We'll look at the fuselage first. So we've got 3 sprues plus the transparencies. Let's get you in just that little bit closer so you can see. Now the first thing that I see, which we'll come to in a minute, but I'm just looking at the fuselage, and Airfix over the years have been absolutely trounced for their trench-like panel lines. Love or hate panel lines, they're there. These are very, very good and quite fine, in my opinion. They will take a wash absolutely beautifully. Look very good. The body shape looks beautiful. We all know what the Hunter looks like, and this is a very, very good version. I'm not going to measure it. I'm not a rivet counter, but I'll be happy to build this soon. So we'll see what happens. Right, your intakes, and it looks like you won't have to worry about seams because they, yep, no, that's brilliant. There are some marks where that's been pushed out of the mould, but these are out of the way, and only one of them, I imagine just one of them could be seen. Those two definitely won't, that possibly, but that's not an issue to fill. Again, we've got a little bit of ribbon on the inside, nothing major. End of the day is 148. But what intrigues me is the tailpipe. When I saw the instructions, I did wonder. Now there are two types of tailpipe in here, so I wonder if there's going to be the F9 brought out, and it looks very much like there will be with the overhang. These are the ones for the F6. I would imagine these are the ones for the F9. I'm not a hunter connoisseur by any way, shape or form, but that is what I reckon that will be. So that sprue A is very nice, and we'll come to our wings. Again, looking again at our undercarriage area and the wheel wells, they are superbly detailed for this scale. Incredibly detailed, very, very nicely done. Ejection pin marks are out of the way. Even the external fuel pods, and you've got your rocket pods as well, I would drill those out. A nice pitot tube, and it's not one of my big problems used to be the sprue gates on the P2 tubes. Used to be halfway down there, was a pain in the neck to cut them out and clean them up properly. This is done beautifully at the top, so no complaints there. Top of the wing itself, again, very nicely done. Lots of detail. No mismoulds by the looks of it at all. The same with the rear tail planes and the underneath of the wings. Looking very, very, very nice. Yep, that's looking good. And then we came to the last of the grey sprues. Now, there's the problem with one bag. The nose is quite wobbly as such. Right, so the ejection seat, come this way up. As we said, there are two ejection seat inserts, one with belts, and it looks absolutely superb. We'll do that one. That'll save about 10 quid or whatever it is now for seat belts. You got your gear doors. There's no ejection marks, or there is one on there, but that'll be easy to get rid of. Slight bit of flash as well, which is surprising on a brand new kit. Is there inner doors to go on there? There must be, yeah, inner doors, because this is full of ejection marks on these doors. The gear itself, when I can find it, there it is. Reasonably well moulded, no centre seam marks, looking good. And the cockpit area, I mean, the pipe work is brilliant on these, on the wheel wells, looking really good, and on the wheels themselves. If you can see that there, they look really, really nice. I don't know how well the camera will pick these up if I zoom right in. Come on. Right, zoom in. Oh, not quite. There you go. To there. They look very, very nice and very detailed. So that's fairly good. Turn that off because it'll make a noise. The cockpit tub, as I said, it's quite, I wouldn't say it's one of the best, but it's certainly detailed enough for what we want and what you're going to be able to see inside. The front undercarriage looks a bit boring, but then I suppose it was in those days. Some detail on to the wheel covers on the undercarriage. Very, very thin tyres, as there was on the actual aircraft, and they're weighted, which is lovely. And the instrument panel, which we talked about, has got detail, so we can paint that up instead of using them horrible decals. Or you can use the decals and sort it out after. So yep, that's nice. Now we come to our transparencies. These immediately remind me, they're not thick, they're not distorted in any way, shape or form, they just look very, very thick. The front ones are absolutely gorgeous and extremely see-through. See-through, it would be the transparencies, but just clear. There's a little bit of distortion on that corner. There's a little bit of spray rub on the top here, which was going to happen. The all-in-one looks like something you get out of a Matchbox kit, if I'm truthfully honest, from the 70s. It looks thick, but again, if we do the old test over the lines, there's no distortion. So overall first impression, you hit the jackpot again, Airfix. You seem to have got it right to a point. It looks like they've got another mark in the process, whether it be a Mark 9 or something else, but it does look like a Mark 9 tail to me. I'll put this away in a moment. Personally, I think you've done a great job, and I think this will sell very, very well. And the amount of boxes that Hannon's had for back orders was pretty much an artic load. So, if you haven't got one, I think they're around £26. Go and buy one. They look absolutely superb. Thanks for watching, and I think we'll have another one next week with something else that's coming out we will be waiting for. Thanks very much. Bye bye for now.